Well, hello, and thank you so much for joining. I want to introduce to you one of my friends here, Abby Kirk. And Abby is from our church, and Abby is called to be a missionary to Belize. And so, what I wanted to do is jump on here and to all of my friends out there, whether you're watching this on Facebook or YouTube or wherever you're watching this, I want you to know who my friend is. And if you feel led to support her, she is an Assemblies of God missionary. We're going to get into that in just a second. But if you feel led to support her, there are links in this video and on the platform that you're watching this that you can do so as the Lord leads you. So, with that being said, Abby, it's good to see you. I'm very excited about your calling and what God has been doing in your life. And I wanted you to just kind of introduce yourself and maybe talk about your testimony for a moment about, maybe when you got saved and felt called into missions, and we'll kind of go from there.
Okay, so yeah, I'm Abby Kirk, for those of you who don't know me. So I've grown up here pretty much since I was 12. I started out in the youth. When I first came here, me and my family had been in and out of church, but I got saved when I was about 7 years old, and just from then I kind of had the desire just to serve. And then when I came to the youth, I heard about Speed the Light, and didn't know what that was. At my churches, we didn't really talk about missions or anything, and so that kind of just started something within me and put something on my heart. And so I just began to give. In that summer, that I set a goal of $1,000 for Speed the Light. God gave me a vision at an Alabama youth camp that one day I'd be a missionary. And so then I was only 13 years old at that point, so I really didn't know what to do. I just knew that I was called. There's not much you can do as a 13-year-old, but I knew that I could give, so I did that. And then I told some of my leaders. I told Pastor Cody, who was my youth pastor at the time, and they kind of just held me up to that. And then the months after my high school graduation, had no idea what I was doing. But I knew that I was called, so I got with Pastor Jason and Pastor Alex, and we kind of set out a plan, and I just began to work on my credentials. And then the opportunity came up where Cody and Taylor had asked me to join them on the field. So
Yeah, and it's a remarkable story for all of those out there who are in the Assemblies of God, and maybe you're a pastor or a youth pastor, and you take students to youth camp and youth convention, discipleship weekend, and all those types of things, and you participate in Speed the Light. I think Abby is a great story of those ministries that we offer in our fellowship, producing the fruit of that. And that's what you have sitting here again, which is an incredible testimony that I think every youth group out there watching this, every youth pastor ought to have you come in and share that story about why all of those kids and students and young people in our Assemblies of God churches in Alabama ought to participate in these events, because each one is a discipleship making opportunity for our young people. And so Abby won the Ralph W. Harris Award several years ago. And for those that's in Alabama understands what that award is, it's a distinguished award that is given to a young person who goes above and beyond giving to Speed the Light. It's not an amount, it's not who gives the most, but the sacrifice that is given. And I can affirm to you that may not know Abby that she has the fruit of the calling has certainly been there. I support her. The church supports her. We have sent her out with some others as well in the congregation. So I think it's great ground for you to sow into if you feel led to do that. So you heard her talk about she is credentialed with the Assemblies of God. You may wonder, what is that fellowship? So, it's not a denomination. It is a fellowship. It's independent churches that cooperate each other for one reason and one reason only, which is to send out missionaries. And that's pretty much all we do. We do missions. And So again, if you're out there and even if you're not in that fellowship, if you still feel led to support, you can do that because it's good ground. She is credentialed with our fellowship. She has went through several books, studied relentlessly. I will say this: a lot of times when people do their Berean, they procrastinate, and she is not one of them. She jumped on that thing and knocked it out, which again I think shows some of that passion that you kind of hear in her voice. So, where are you going to be serving in your first term? In fact, tell me where you're serving. Where are you going to be going?
I'm going to be going to Belize.
Okay, so Belize, it's in Central America, so it's a Latin American country. So as soon as you raise your support and you leave, where's the first place you go?
Costa Rica.
Okay.
I'll be going to the language school in Sincel.
Okay, so she has to go and learn Spanish, learn the language. How long will you be there?
It's about 6 months.
Okay, so 6 months, and then she'll transition to Belize with Cody and Taylor. The reason it works like that is, as a missionary associate, anybody who is called to missions has to serve under somebody who is what we call fully appointed. And we understand that concept as an apprentice. If you're learning how to weld, you serve under somebody who teaches you how to do it. We understand that concept in most places in our society, and this is no different. And so that's what she'll do first. And then after that, I guess you'll pray about where God calls you. So that's on down the road. Right now, trying to raise some money. So how much is your budget monthly? Because she has to have a certain amount coming in monthly. And how much is your cash that you have to raise?
So monthly is $3,600, and then cash is $37,000.
Okay, and I know you've raised about a third of your cash budget, so about 30% has already been raised. So I mean, she's knocking this thing out. She does need monthly support. That's where she's lacking the most, I guess, would be fair. It's very transparent. Everything that is given is visible. You can track it. You can see it. Again, I endorse it wholeheartedly. So what will you be doing in Belize once you get there?
Yeah, so the main goal for our team is we want to plant indigenous churches. But when we're there, we're going to start by partnering with the local community and just other believers that are there, and just teaching them how to just rely on God, and just raising them up and discipling them, and just growing the community, the Christian community there.
And it's key. I don't know if you picked up on that, but we're not sending her down there to pastor a church or her lead the church. The idea is to raise up disciples who are from Belize, teach them the gospel, discipleship them, and then they plant the church. They lead the church in their own country, which I believe is the biblical model. But we got to get them down there, her and others in our church right now. So if you feel led to support her, please do so. Abby, as we close this out, how can people connect with you, whether it's your social media handles or want to give directly to your account?
Yeah, so on social media, you can just look me up, my name, Abby Kirk. And on Facebook, I have a private group that I can add you to if you want to know more. And then I have the AG or giving.ag.org, where you can go on there, you can look up my name or look up my account number, which is 299702.
All right. Thank you very much. God bless.